pandemic got us into a reflective space and made us look inward to see what we can do for the world at large. As a self-expression coach, I became a catalyst for women and started Vani, a one-on-one coaching program for women on finding their voice, to speak up, to be visible. As a storyteller, I spotted there were many ordinary people amongst us leading extraordinary lives, making a difference to the world, and they needed to be heard. Thus was born You and I with Rashmi Shetty, where amazing personal journeys with their uniqueness and individuality are showcased, a reaffirmation of the fact, open your eyes wider, the world is far more beautiful when we acknowledge the presence of both you and I. Our guest today is Srividya Nagaraju, a TEDx speaker, internationally acclaimed facilitator, pioneering effective learning using various techniques for skill, behavior improvement, and corporate leadership. With 25 years of experience in the corporate and social sector, to invigorate and humanize her sessions, Srividya is a very sought after name in keynote speeches to trainings. She specializes in curating and delivering training modules that are adapted learnings from Indian scriptures on leadership, working together, women development, diversity, POSH, etc. Her emphasis has been on bringing a transformational change through insightful experience. A passion to work with people and invest in our society has led her to dedicate herself in various activities in the fields of public education and mental health. Listen in as she shares her inspirational journey, her influences, and what, according to her, is Shakti leadership. Hi, Srividya. Pleasure, honor to have you on You and I with Rashmi Shetty. Been following your posts regularly on LinkedIn. Love the Indic wisdom you bring in all your posts and how you connect it all to leadership, to women empowerment, and just essentially who you are is what I really admire. And I want to know now what little Srividya was like to the Srividya Nagaraju the world knows you today as.
Hi, Rashmi. Thank you for having me here. It's my pleasure too, as we have been following each other on LinkedIn, and this is nice to meet here. It's such a pleasure. What was that little Srividya? Little Srividya was a very, studied in a very local Kannada medium, a small, very almost close to a government school kind of little school, happy child. Thanks to parents, exposed to a lot about values. How do you bring it up, and that philosophy background? I think that's something which helped me who I am today. That upbringing, I have been having a great upbringing, and never expected I would grow. An ordinary girl, anybody. But thanks to my opportunities and the blessings from all over, today I'm here. I mean, just to say, if you say little, I don't know how little you want to hear about, but let me tell you something which I never expected, or people around me. I had failed in my 12th grade. I failed my 12th grade, and that's where probably, perhaps I couldn't articulate that time, but today that's what I say. I might have failed in an exam or an event situation, but I'm not a failure. So that's why if you want to say the little one, this could be another one saying, you have to, there's always something more, from second PUC failed to today. I have 2 master degrees and I'm an alumna of IIM Bangalore and a guest faculty, international speaker. All that is there, but who I was very different from who I am today.
This is so beautiful, Srividya, and a lovely point to ask a very important question. Because as parents, we always tell our children 10th is crucial, 12th is crucial, and it decides your future and stuff like that. And I love it when you smilingly said that you failed in your 12th grade. So, first and foremost, what is it you'd like to tell parents? And second, to those children who give up on life itself before the competitive exams begin and give up on their attempt or just let go of it all, saying that, okay, there's no point, I'm not going to do well. So, right here, what is it that you'd like to tell both parents and students?
Thanks for bringing this question, Rashmi. This is so important because there is a lot of perception, which is a myth about success and failure. The way we define success and failure has been misleading to a lot of people. Academic success, yes, definitely one part of life, which is important. I'm not saying it's not important. Like today, I'm invited because I have all those other qualifications. So let's not negate the importance of it, but at the same time, it shouldn't be that it's a life and death. No, not like that. We put in our efforts. I repeat this, my quote again, we might fail, but I'm not a failure. Just because I failed in 12th grade doesn't mean my life is over. What else can I do in life? If I can't even pass 12th grade, trust me, I attempted multiple times and I did not pass. It's even more. Yes. But what happened to me, I had taken science. For some reason, science and me didn't go well. The rapport didn't build well, if I have to say. Thanks, my brother said, why don't you try some computer course? Because that time you had to wait for 6 months to repeat, rewrite your exams. And then I did a short course and I liked it. We had a great relationship and that got a different direction. So sometimes when we hit a dead end, we might have to take a U-turn and find another route. So it's never a permanent dead end in life. And even on the road, it's never a dead end. You hit a dead end, but you always have to, maybe it takes a little more time, which is okay, and sometimes it's for better. You find a better route. If I had passed, probably I would have just done one BSc or whatever and be done. For whatever reason, so everything happens for good. So life is to explore, and same thing I'm telling parents, it's not that we shouldn't study, as we need it, but it should not be at the cost of our life. We need to enjoy whatever we do and do it. If something, both for parents and students, for whatever the reasons, if there is a break, so I'm using the word break, not failure. If there is a break, you can always continue. There are so many things. Many parents, students ask, is there a scope in this, that, what if I don't do well? See, today world is so good, so dynamic. Everything has a place. Everything has a place and you can find so many things to do. So there is nothing called dead end in life. Please, it's not worth it. Let go our life for one. And also, let me tell you, Rashmi, why is that? Why people give so much of importance to failures? I think we are okay with we failing. That's not an issue. When we fail, how people perceive, that becomes a bigger issue. What will those people say? What will your neighbor say? What will your cousin say? What will your friend say? Teacher say? I think that becomes a bigger issue. That's what stops us. How will I face the world? People say, when I fail. Somewhere that little bit culturally, but trust me, the people are not going to do anything. The reality is they're not going to do anything. If at all, maximum, they may say, oh, how come? That one momentary comments may come. Beyond that, they're not going to stop talking to you or stop really looking down on you. But we get carried away with those little comments here and there from some people, not from everyone else. That becomes so important. Our life is our life. So second message, when I'm saying this, we are not here to impress anyone. That when we want to impress is all the pressure and stress, whether it is exam, whether it is your career, whether you want to go and speak somewhere, whether you want to do some project, assignment, anything for that matter. Always it comes saying, I need to impress. People should like me. No, we are not here to impress. We are here to express.
This is a dictum that I also share in my communication sessions, that communication is meant to express and not to impress. And that's so true, we get carried away with what will the world think, and it takes some time for us to understand we are not at all a priority in the world's view.
The world is not actually thinking about us.
Yeah.
The world is busy thinking about themselves.
And what a bubble we are living in, thinking we are so important that the world will be thinking about us.
I keep saying we are not those celebrities, people which watch saying, what am I drinking, what am I eating, what am I going, where am I going to?
Yeah. So
in fact, it reminds me of a quote from Swami Vivekananda. He says, express the divinity within you. So there's always a divinity. I tell people, get in touch with the divinity, not anywhere else, and express yourself freely. It's okay. Some people may like, some people may not like. It's okay. There's no rule that everyone should like what we say. I'm sure you as a speaker trainer know, right? Not that everyone will like it, but it's
True.
okay.
That's so true. And now that you brought in Swami Vivekananda, I'm curious to know because what drew me to one of your earlier posts, and I think that's where I commented, and I really loved it, was that clock that you had, the Indian clock, which was so powerful and beautiful. So when I think of Srividya, it's the Indic wisdom you bring into your posts and how you speak and the shlokas you bring in. I love the way you intersperse it all. So, where did this draw of Indic wisdom come in Srividya in the journey of Srividya to the Srividya Nagaraju that everyone associates you with?
Great question. I think for my association with Sanskrit, uh, formally started in my 8th standard because that was my first language. But prior to that, is my father is a Sanskrit scholar, and my uncle was also a Sanskrit scholar. So there has been in the upbringing, I've heard here and there all that definitely. But the formal learning started from 8th standard, and the first Subhashita, what is Subhashita? Also, it talks about is goes like this, Samsara Vishavrakshasya Dvepale hi Amritopame Subhashita Rasa Swadaha Sangatihi Sujanaihi Saha, which means samsara in Sanskrit means the world. In the world, there's a lot of challenges, bitterness. If you want to look at the world as a tree, and there is that bitterness here and there, definitely a lot of places. But in midst of all that, there is two sweet fruits like nectar, amrita, that kind of two fruits are there, which are there. One is subhashita, and the good words, the pleasant words, the nice words, and association of good. This was the first. Somehow it has till today, it's retained in me so much of impact, I think. So today we call that as networking. That's why I do programs called Network is equal to Net Worth. How this power of networking can help us so much. So from then I used to study all that. But after that, your college and then your work, so didn't pay attention to that so much. It was there, that's it. It was there. And at home also, at the back end it was going on. But I think when I became a trainer, speaker, I was thinking, what is that I can do something different, something unique. Then I said, when I see all these Western concepts, they're good, they're extremely good in terms of their templates, but if you go back, where is the wisdom has come from? Now, when I see that, and I said, wow, so much of rich wisdom is there in our own country. So I pick up the wisdom from that and I apply the little frameworks and templates of the West. So, the best of the East and the West. So I think that's where the connection, and from there I've been developing a lot of modules, the leadership or the communication. Yesterday I was in some communication session I was attending from my mentor, and this is how Hanuman was so good in his communication. So much to learn. What is so important? That's my effort.
Everything from the West is all about frameworks, while East is more concepts. And I'm hugely influenced by the Bhagavad Gita. And therefore, when I see every verse in the Gita is a concept. And the more you go deeper into that, you start realizing that simplifying life itself is something that we don't even have to bother. Life is simple.
Exactly. It is simple. We complicate it.
Yeah. And all the frameworks are around simplifying life, and life is very simple. So sometimes it's very ironic, but it's true. And sadly, when it comes from outside, it's valued a lot more than what we have at home.
Correct.
That is where I feel people like you bring in a whole lot of a difference. So if I ask you now on life itself, okay, or on leadership, what is it that you will, or how would you blend both East and West on a concept of any concept of leadership?
Let me take this two of my heroes from our history, Vasishtha and Vishwamitra, Sage Vasishtha and Vishwamitra. We've heard so much about them. Initially, Sage Vishwamitra was trying to fight with Sage Vasishtha. Right? He was trying to fight and wanted to conquer and said, I want to be you. I want to be you, was that competitive spirit and fighting and all that. But eventually he realized that that power of Sage Vasishtha is so strong that despite of being an emperor with everything, he couldn't defeat him. Then the transition happened in him saying, okay, instead of saying, I want to be that sage Vasishtha, he changed that saying, I want to become like. So, if I have to put it in today's world, competition can be turned as role model. Instead of competing with somebody, can you role model them? The aspect which you want. In fact, again, my mentor keeps saying, don't role model people, role model the qualities of people. So turn the competition. Today's world is a lot about competition. People don't understand the reality. Reality is we need to compete with ourselves. Yeah. And from someone else, we just have to learn, role model them. See how we can connect every single story.
Yeah, that's so true, Srividya. And another thing is, even when we are talking competition, benchmarking is something that we always set ourselves against. So just keeping your last performance as a benchmark and pushing yourself against that, I think helps us bring out the best in us. Okay.
Compete
So
with
when,
ourselves.
correct. Your last performance to your this whatever performance you're going to do. And here I want to bring in women in leadership. Okay. So one thing we have all noticed is in the workforce, the entry level, it's 50-50. In fact, a little more of women than men when they start out. But something happens in between because of so many reasons, be it biological, then commitment at home, motherhood, and all other responsibilities that women take a back step. And this is something that has been happening over the years. The problem with most of us women is we talk about work life balance, while it's all about integration and there's nothing called balance. So that's what I believe that the
I
more
agree
you
with you.
integrate, the
Totally
more
agree.
you, yeah. So you will not have it all. It's how about getting it all together. That's it. And ask for help because that's something we don't do. So all of this will what make our lives a lot more easy. But why is it so difficult for women to get this concept?
Like you've actually answered some of it in your own question, Rashmi.
Yes.
But it's important to reiterate. I think first there's a little self-esteem and the confidence. It starts from there. The all other reasons are there, but if you go deeper when you study with a lot of women, there is a belief system that outwardly it is not appear. It doesn't appear. Outwardly they look very confident, sound very confident. But since I've worked with a lot of people and do work over the years, there's always that little doubt. That saying, that little voice says, "Oh, you're not good enough." And you are supposed to do this, you are supposed to do this, you got to do this, you got to do that. With all the challenges somewhere, that also has to be first worked, because it's not something very evident obvious for people to pick it up saying, oh, that could be a challenge. But I think working on that self-esteem, confidence, which is in a very very subtle, um, it pops up very subtly. So if somebody can pick it up, or they can work with a mentor who can help them pick it up, that's a number one. Work on your confidence. Yes, we can be the CEOs, CXOs, and whatever it is. And sometimes it's the challenge people, so I can't handle the men at the top. So many things. It's not actually, it is not as difficult as it appears. Let me put it that way. So there's a lot of challenges. Yes, you can't have it all, like you said, and so many other great successful women also say you can't have it all. But at the same time, you can have many, if not all. I think that also is important. While you can't have all, but a lot of things. So to start believing in ourselves and say, and seeking for help, that's the most. You have to work around a lot of it. And in your decision making, I think it's important to involve the stakeholders. We normally look stakeholders only at the professional level. Personal stakeholders are there. Be it your spouse, parents, child, or whoever is your important, significant stakeholders, involve them in your decision making rather than expecting they should understand and support. I think that's something as women we expect, right? I mean, as all of us, but in particular women, we expect the support. I think it has to be explicitly asked, saying, yes, this is important for me. I also have my career aspirations. I need this help. Let's together work it out. It doesn't mean that it's this or that. Can it be both? Yes. Maybe it's not 100 of both, but a good balance. Whatever the balance is appropriate for each individual. There's no standard balance. It starts from there. involve the stakeholders. I heard some example when one young lady wanted to become an entrepreneur, and her challenge she kept saying was, oh, my mother-in-law may not allow and all that. Then we worked, and finally she involved her mother-in-law in her business. Then it went to a different heights. The business went to a different height. So sometimes we expect, rather than make the efforts to create that environment, rather than expecting the conducive environment, what we say, we can create that. This is the different I want to say, while rest of it and everyone else know, but something this is important.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Whenever you're right, when it comes to the word stakeholder, we always see the professional side. We never see the ones in our personal life as stakeholders at all. So true. And right here, I think it's a beautiful point to bring in that Shakti talk of yours, that TED talk. I loved it. I loved it. The way you brought the Shakti concept so powerfully. So I would love to know the inspiration behind it and your idea of Shakti leadership, because November 19th is celebrated because it's Indira Gandhi's birthday. It's one of those women leaders in India we really love to hate as much as we love to love, for being who she was and showing us very clearly that when a woman is at the top, work can happen, action is fantastic. So for me personally, I admire the way she handled all the challenges that came to her at that point of time. So I feel today is a beautiful day to discuss Shakti leadership, because you have said it in your talk as well that when it comes to leadership after a certain level, it is more about feminine, masculine powers. It's not about being feminine or masculine. So, what is this Shakti leadership, and how does each one of us bring it into our lives?
See, this is where when I was invited for the TED talk, going back a little background, my friend Srividhya invited me to Colorado all the way, and he says, I want you to talk about power of Indian women. I'm like, oh my God, it is so much. Where do I start? Anyway, that was the background, because he says, there a lot of people had a different understanding about Indian women, or rather perception. So that has to change, because we've changed so much. So I said, where is this in Indian women power today? A lot of this gender thing has come up, women power, empowerment, everything. So when you go back, that's where I started to think and understand. So I did a lot of study before that. If you've seen, I've started from our Vedic times to till today. Where is it? It was always good. We never had a problem. There was no need for that, I need power. It was there by default, and everyone respected. And we have heard in so many ways that. So for me, for all the women, the message is, first we need to believe, even for men, but more specifically for women, when we are talking about a leadership, the moment leadership, there is the gender, what comes to us is the masculine. Right? That's where I use this Ardhanarishwara concept. When I show people say it's equal, this and I said, all that is true. But for me, we have both the powers, both the energies. We are not used to tapping the other energy. So that's what is important, more than your external conducive environment. Internally, to be a leader, yes, we also need that masculine energy, femininity. We anyway have it already. First, we need to believe we have both. So get in touch with that energy and say that, yes, I'm going to use both masculine and feminine energy, and then we can do. And we see in all the great leaders, whether you talk about the, Jhansi Ranis to Kittur Channamas, to anyone you talk, even in my TED talk, I've mentioned, while Indira Gandhi was the first women prime minister across, you can see that. So it is there. I think that is the belief we need to know, that power is with me. We don't have to go anywhere else. Skills we need to learn outside. The power is within. We need to get in touch and believe that, yes, the Shakti is inside. That's where I say, women, I don't believe in empowerment. The power is already there. It needs nurturing probably, and it needs a reminder. Only those things are required. So believe in that. And then why not leadership, whatever the top also, if you can tap your own masculine energy and you already have the feminine energy, why not?
Very, very true. Very, very beautifully said as well. So, when it comes to little girls, as girls are being brought up, What are some of the things that boys and girls need to know as they're growing up when it comes to this Shakti which is within them? I think somewhere the parenting element there does play a role in understanding the presence of it rather than the difference in the gender. So how do you how and what do you think is required in the growing up and the most influential years, the adolescent years of a child, on understanding this leadership insight?
Beautiful question, Rashmi. Very beautiful question. I'm glad you thought of this. Yes, I think in the upbringing is where our belief goes more on one side of the energy. Okay, it says, okay, girls should not do this, boys should not cry, all that, this is a girly task, this is a boy's task, even the toys and everything is there. While we need to respect the gender specific nuances, we shouldn't forget that it's not like, okay, every girl should start behaving like a boy should behave like a girl. No, we continue to be with whatever the primary energy we use, but also to remember there are other energies. So as parents or kids, I think we need to get ourselves exposed to both the kind of in the action, it's a task, right? Today it's important, the girls have to drive, the men have to cook, everything needs to be done both. It shouldn't, the word should saying ye iska kaam hai, wo iska kaam hai, that only should change and say yes at home, but let's keep our primary gendered nuances also and learn whatever everything. So you don't have to worry about it, encourage. Like I have been very well brought up like that, though I have two elder brothers. But you remember back then, two elder brothers means girls would be very protective. For me, that was not there. They took care of me. At the same time, they empowered me. So, yeah, you also go do that. You also do this. You also do that. That is something we need to allow individuals to explore. I say, allow people to explore. It's okay. You don't have to say, they have to be. Another one is, parents feel everyone has to become successful in whatever they take. No, success is, how do you measure success? I think success should be measured in the efforts more than the result. If individual has put in a lot of efforts, that is a success. In fact, I met somebody, a very nice parent. I want to share this example recently. He said, after immediately exams of our children, we go and celebrate. Because they have done the efforts, they've worked hard, we do it. Result celebration is separate. So I think that is very important while I'm connecting back. So while growing up, it's like, the pinks and the blues. Boy should not cry. Emotions doesn't differentiate the gender. Emotions are emotions. It's true with the human beings. Animals have emotions. Even the plants have emotions. We know, we have heard so much. So emotions can't come because of the gender. So just allow ourselves to be who we are, whatever the gender is. Again, I want to be very neutral here. I'm not talking about, these are the two energies. The proportion may change in each individual. Some people will have more of this, less of that. It's okay. But remember, we have it. And it is okay.
Very, very important, true. But when it comes to success, failure, you've been saying this very often in your talk. And so, if there is a definition for success, it's effort, all right. But do you have a definition that, like how you have definitions for every other thing in life? What is Srividya's definition of success?
Success for me is, again, I come back, have I done all that I'm doing? Am I increasing my benchmark? That is, if I am doing what I'm doing throughout, then I can't. What was success yesterday can't be success today. Okay, so success is a continuum for me. If you ask the definition, it's a continuum. It has to keep going. And success, as I said, it's very different. But success for me is, am I moving forward? Even if I take 2-3 steps back, but am I able to bounce back? Like Dr. Kalam. Dr. Kalam keeps saying, failure is when you fail to attempt.
Yeah.
So opposite of success is when you keep going. Even if you come back, step down, doesn't matter. Can you continue the journey? That is successful.
Yes, this is really powerful. And are there any one person or a couple of people whose stories have remained with you, Srividya, of the different people that you have met, seen, and role modeled yourself on with their qualities, certain qualities? Anybody who stays with you or any conversation that stayed with you which made you understand certain concepts or saw how beautifully your concept was implemented by the person who heard you? Any stories like that?
This is a tough question, Rashmi. Why I'm saying tough? Because I have tons of them. I've been inspired. I've learned from my primary learnings comes from the great leaders. Okay. As I said, networking, that's I've been very blessed of association of great people. So I have worked or I have interacted with many iconic leaders. So there's so much of learning. What I am today is all bundled from them. Okay. But now you're asking me to choose one. Okay, let me choose one which I have been trying to take it forward as well, learned and take it forward, or trying to take it forward. Because I just mentioned Dr. Kalam's name, so I'm going to share. While I have learned dozen of things, but I'll pick up one among them, is the power of appreciation, which all of us can practice as a leader. As a leader, as a parent, as all the roles we play. I think that's very important. He appreciates every small thing, and everyone does. You know how high he is, no matter who it is, every small thing somebody is doing, he says, yeah, you're doing that good. That power did impact in my life so much. I think my confidence went up when I received an appreciation from Dr. Not because of I did anything great. It is his greatness, but it had an impact. That is where it's important when I was talking about creating the environment, that we need to spend time with more of people where we want to role model them, we want to learn from them, and that energy, what you can radiate and feel from them. So that is so important. So this is power of appreciation is something I did learn. It impacted me, and I'm trying to take it forward. And I do talks on that and deliver even training workshops on the appreciation. It's called Appreciation Helps Appreciation.
Love the play of words. So, so what exactly did he appreciate about you? Do you obviously you'll remember the exact words,
Yeah.
but if you can share that story, Srividya, that'll be amazing.
Okay. Two things. This was the first time I met him in IIM Bangalore. We had invited. I was part of the Alumni Association Management Committee. We had invited him for a leadership talk. All of us as management professionals. He came, and incidentally, I was the MC that day. Okay, first time ever in life, the MC part. That time I was not a speaker trainer. It was back in 2008. Okay, I was a manager in a company at that time. And I said, I'll do it because opportunity, I don't want to let go. This is something I want to, say here, that, opportunities comes, but we think I don't have the ability. Oh my God, I've never done it. How will I do in front of them? I say, in front of seniors, elders, great people, you don't have to worry because they will correct if you make a mistake. We need to worry more in front of youngsters because they learn from us. Right? So opportunity, it's okay. What happens. For me, got an opportunity with him. That was enough for me. I didn't care what else was happening. How will people think? I'm not worried. I'm saying this is. So I came and I started, and I as an MC, I kickstarted the event. Then the chairman of the institute came and did the formal welcome address. Then it was time for Dr. Kalam to come to the talk. And I was standing there near the podium to assist him. As he walked, the moment both of us had eye-to-eye contact, before even I could gather my energy and, greet him, the first thing he told me is, you're doing a good job. I just didn't know how to even thank him. I managed to say thank you. So that was first one. Then he went to the podium and he said, greetings to chairperson, all of them. Along with that, he said, and most important person, Ms. Srividya, who pushed me to come here. Okay. That is also done, I was already in the cloud 9 to receive, whatever. Then after the event, we were to take him inside. It was late in the evening in the campus, in the amphitheater. It was open. And the moment he got out of the stage, the people started bouncing. Everyone wanted the shake hand, autograph, photograph, or just to touch, be there. And it was a security issue. It was a little dark. So I actually started shouting with my loud voice, saying, move. And I was trying to take him just to safeguard. Can you believe that instantly he told me, You are very strong. Exact words. No. I said you are a strong lady. Just can't believe how he can on the dot recognize people. That made a huge impact. That yes, I'm strong. This is what I'm saying. Strength is there inside. I could never believe I can do an MC there in front of 1,400 people. No, that was the first time. This is what I want to say. Is just because we are not used to it doesn't mean we can't do. Did I do a great job? I have no idea. But I did the job is important. And I learn and move on, right? Yes, I did fumble a little bit here and there. Yes, of course, yes, I could have done better, definitely much better. But the fact that I'm satisfied, I did that. This is what success means. Have you done your best at that point of time? Have I given my best? Today, when I look back, obviously I could have done much better. All that is fine. But that day, the fact that I did is all I'm happy. And for me, opportunity makes a huge difference in what I did.
That is so true, and I very, very strongly believe that it's only when you're ready an opportunity comes to you. So you should never say no because you think you're ill equipped, but I think the opportunity has come because you are equipped. And this is such a powerful story, such a beautiful example. Any special moments in your life, Srividya, that you'd like to share with us? Yes, with Dr. Kalam is, I'm sure, the highlight of all the moments of your life. But any recognition, any moment that when you look back on your journey, you're so absolutely humbled, grateful, and very happy about what life gave you?
I said I failed in 12th, right? I failed, and honestly, I could never complete it also. And then I went to NIT, did my honors diploma, all that. But it was always said that I haven't done a university degree, graduation, or something, a certificate. I didn't have. So I started working and all that, but it was always there for me to do. And then I went to an institute to do a BCom because by the time I was in the financial services, so from science to computers to all, I've worked in all different industries and sectors. I'm open to whatever comes my way. I always explore. I think that has helped me also in my career at least. Then I said I had to do something, so I said I'll do BCom. That time you could do with your age. Okay, so I was waiting to complete 25, and after that I wanted to do my BCom. I went to some institute. I said I want to enroll. That person said, "You have working experience. Do MCom." I said, "Are you joking? I have not done commerce, PUC, or BCom, but you have been working experience. You can do it." Again, you don't know who inspires you. I remember those words. I don't know who that man is. It's about so many years ago, but somebody was so good. I said, "Okay, chalo, try karte. What is there? Let me try." I took it up. I think the day I got my results of MCom, definitely that was a big success, and it was an ordinary pass. If somebody says, "What is their MCom pass?" But for someone who could not complete a 12th grade to do an MCom directly without even doing a BCom, it meant a lot for me in the context I was. One of those really moments, which is where after that is where I went to IIM, and then I did my MS in psychology and all the other things. If I hadn't done that, probably it would have been difficult for me to move forward. So after so many years, it was always, you can come back and do it. So that moment, I still remember one of my success moments, if I have to call in my context.
And anyway, now that you're in the reflective space, the pandemic was one such moment for all of us. Okay. 2.5 years, it shook the entire globe, and everyone got into a pause mode, a reflective space to understand. And many of us did understand what is important in life. We were running behind something else, which was not even important. So each one of us took our own lessons, and with life moving back to normal, we are on the perils of even forgetting those beautiful lessons.
Correct.
So when it comes to you, Srividya, what have you taken away from the pandemic?
I think everything, there is a learning in it. There is high and low in everything what we see. Challenges are part of life. And for me personally, I've gone through many challenges as anyone else. And from that, I think that has helped me grow personally. If those challenges were not there, I'm not sure if would have grown this much what I am today. That's what my belief. So everything is a challenge. Yes, nature teaches us, mm, And that's where I came up with this concept. Not, I mean, somebody wanted me to do on resilience. We all talk about resilience. So I said, resilience is like kind of bouncing back or bouncing forward. Don't, if you were here, you go back, you come back here and move forward is resilient. I think this pandemic taught me saying a step ahead. That's where I read this concept of anti-fragility. Okay. So what that anti-fragility concept is, you bounce back is your resilience, but you bounce higher is anti-fragility. You're not fragile. You can be anti-fragile. That is something, I think for that, again, refer back to our Indic wisdom stories. If you see, all the Rakshasas came up with so much of power saying, yeah, I can't die because I have got all this, everything I have can't be possible at all. But again, there was again creative way saying, okay, I can find another condition which is over and above all this. Right? That Rakta Bijasura. One drop would 100 will come. That's anti-fragility. He was anti-fragile. And Devi was even more anti-fragile, saying, okay, I will grow my tongue so big that I will swallow you. See, that stories were there, but we need to connect. So anti-fragility is when the challenges comes, we can grow even more bigger. And we have a choice to give up. Oh, I can't do anything. So many people gave up. But you say, what is that I can do in given condition? Like some of us moved to online. Some trainers even today could not move. They said, I can't do online. I have to do only face-to-face. Choices are there. How we make it.
Yes, that is so true. And technology became such a huge asset to man. And we suddenly realized global conferences can happen online. Carbon footprint reduced drastically in those 2 years.
And
And
proximity meaning has changed.
yeah, that is so true. And just a quick recall, can you give that Raktabija story? Because somewhere I see this anti-fragility is connected to the Shakti leadership as well. So if you can thread it for us, Srividya.
Sure. Since Anti-Fragility is a book by Taleb, Nassim Taleb, you know that, right? I was looking at stories, and anything I see now, I try to bring the Indic wisdom as well. So that's where I said, yeah, okay, there was a Rakshasa. As usual, all the Rakshasas, they didn't want to die. They always wanted luxury and fun and, all the time, never wanted to die. So they go and do, what is the big learning for me is they always do the tapas to acquire. So this knowledge acquisition, they won't stop. They find one Shivastra, then they go for Brahmastra. They keep going and acquiring it. I think that's a big learning for us. We need to keep acquiring our competencies over a period of time. Okay. And then, so he had that blessing. What is the blessing? If one drop of his blood falls on the ground, 1,000 more Rakshasas will, come up from that. That's why it's called Rakta Bijasura. Rakta is blood. Bija, more, it becomes like a seed for more Asuras to come. So that is what was happening. So nobody could kill him. You even touch one blood, 1,000 will come. So, nobody could kill him. So that was a big challenge. And because of that attitude of I can't die, they do all bad things. That was a problem. Them having the power was not an issue. But how were they using that was an issue. Right? So that's where everyone went to all that. That's where the Shakti, whatever the form of the Devi, she had to come and she had to see how to do it. So the blood should not fall on the ground. If it falls only, then another 1,000 will come up, right? So that's why what she did, she grew her tongue so huge and she drank the blood so that it didn't fall. So she could, kill him. See, these are all indication to say the challenges and, everything bad has to go and the good has to remain for all of us. So such a beautiful story so we have to grow bigger. If you say as a Shakti, the Shakti is inside. It's, yes, the outside world is bigger than us. Oh my God, it's so huge. How do I cross this, like Hanuman crossed the ocean? He had to grow big. The ocean will stay like this. We can't expect, oh, I'm small, it's big, I can't handle it. Yes, at this point of time, you can't. But can you work on your strategy, competence, grow bigger so that you can take up the challenge or assignment or the goal, whatever you want to say?
Yes. And now we are in the last part of the conclusion of this conversation because every moment with you has been really beautiful. all the stories that you connected, the concepts that you explained have been very powerful. So, three life lessons. I know there will be a plenty with someone like you, but three life lessons that you'd like to leave us with, Srividya.
I've already shared few of them. I've already shared few of them, so, because that's my primary life lessons. Is, as I said, I can fail in an event, situation, exam, marriage, relationship, but I'm not a failure. That's definitely one of the life lessons I would like to tell people, including the marriage, relationship, anything for that matter. The second one, again, I keep saying, we are not here to impress, but we are here to express and express the divinity.
Yeah.
Then the third, my own quote with the life lessons is that we are, you must inspire yourself before you inspire others.
Powerful, beautiful, and that's so true. I think the day we decide to inspire ourselves, we find ourselves also in the process. Thank you so very much, Srividya. Honor to have you on You and I with Rashmi Shetty. This has been such a beautiful conversation. Stay blessed, continue to inspire, and may all your dreams come true.
Thank you so much, Rashmi. It was so lovely, and you yourself as an inspiration, and you asking me questions, so deep questions. I think that makes it your show very different. The way you kind of bring the best out of other people. That's your skill, and you're anyway good at it. Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure too, and I wish the best to everyone.
Yes. Thank you so very much. With that, we come to the end of this weekly quest of You and I with Rashmi Shetty. Do let us know if you know people who make the world beautiful. Write in to rashmi.thethirdeye@gmail.com. That is rashmi.thhirdeye@gmail.com. Come, let's explore this amazing world together, both you and I.